Six Ravens is now open. Gideon's brand new concept, located in Disney Springs, is serving a variety of savory hand pies, sides, drinks, and more. I'm ordering the entire menu so I can let you know which of these new dishes you need to try and which you should probably skip. Just a few months ago, the old Art of Shaving location, which is just around the corner from Gideon's, started receiving an interesting makeover. It was later announced that Gideon's would be moving in, but they weren't going to be selling their typical cookies, cakes, and cold brews. They were going to be trying something different. The main focus of this new menu is on their savory hand pies known as Coffins. Stuffed inside of a yeast roll, you can find things like mac and cheese, garlic pesto chicken, a cheeseburger, coconut curry chicken, and more. I can't wait to try the Coffins and all the other treats, so let's hop in line. So I just checked in over at Six Ravens, and guys, the line is already super long. It stretches all the way back to STK. I did get here pretty early on in the morning, so I was kind of expecting to be able to hop right in line, but they've already got the virtual queue going. With this spot being so new, I do expect them to have a virtual queue running for the first couple weeks, at least maybe the first couple months. And with the line stretched all the way back to STK, they quoted me about a 2-hour wait. So in the meantime, let's take a look over the menu. So just like with Gideon's, when you hop in line or join the virtual queue, they hand you a menu with some cool artwork on it, except this one isn't front and back. This one you actually kind of open up like a book, and it shows you the whole menu. We can see they have the Peasant's patty, which is like a cheeseburger coffin, the Villain of Valentina, which is stuffed with house basil pesto chicken, balsamic, a ton of garlic. That one sounds amazing. The Wizard's Wonder has some mac and cheese in there. The Imperial Idol is like a spicy chicken with potato, carrot, and coconut curry. They have the Moreish Monk, which is like a grilled cheese with some tomato soup and such. And then they have the Foragers Find, which I believe is their plant-based coffin. And over here they have the complements to the coffins. So they have a side, the Telltale Tatties, which are smashed potatoes. They also have a sweet treat. Of course, it wouldn't be a Gideon's location without a little sweet treat. So they have the Tart's Tempest, which is a Gideon's chocolate chip cookie tart. How good does that sound? They also have plenty of beers from some local breweries. So I can't wait to try everything. Well, after just about 2 hours of waiting in the virtual queue, my name got called and I returned to Six Ravens. Luckily, when we got over there, the line to enter wasn't too long, and to my surprise, the interior of Six Ravens is even smaller than Gideon's. I don't even know how that's possible. But once you're let into the doors, you're pretty much next in line to order. There really isn't much waiting time to be done inside because the space is so small. The cast was super nice and helpful. They gave us a little backstory of the Six Ravens, which was cool to hear, and we got to check out some of the merch. So right now they have a candle in a beer stein, which you can later use as a beer stein once you finish the candle. They have a little journal that you can purchase, a t-shirt, and they also have a pin if you're interested. Now, the inside of the restaurant, of course, gave off those same spooky vibes that Gideon's does. And I was able to pick up one of everything. So we have all 6 coffins, we have all of the dipping sauces, the chocolate chip cookie tart, we have the potato skins, and we also have the root beer. I'm pretty thirsty after waiting outside all that time, so let's try this root beer. This is the Friar's Fault. It's a Six Ravens house tap root beer. It's sassafras forward and it has a vanilla bean finish for $6.96. You will notice a trend that pretty much all of the prices have a 6 in them, and I think that's a really cool touch. Let's try this root beer. I'm not like a big root beer fan. You guys know I'm a DC fan, but house tapped root beer, we gotta try it out. I guess if you like root beer, you would probably enjoy this a lot more than me. To me personally, it tastes almost like a mixture of a cream soda and root beer. It's very heavy on the vanilla flavor. So personally, I wouldn't order this again. I would just stick with a Diet Coke. Before we get into all the food, I have to mention how cool all of this packaging is. I mean, even just these boxes, the attention to detail is really awesome, and you can kind of open them up like a little bit of a storybook. And I mean, everything down to the containers that the sauces are in are all super cool. And speaking of sauces, they're working with local restaurants around Orlando to produce all of their sauces. I noticed one in particular, their pesto chicken coffin is served with Bruno's garlic knot sauce. I've actually been to Pizza Bruno before. I didn't care for their pizza or their pasta, but the one thing I did really love from Pizza Bruno were their garlic knots. And this is kind of the sauce that they smother their garlic knots in that we're going to be able to dip our coffin in. So that should be really good. And it's really cool that they're kind of supporting local businesses through this. But now we're going to move on to all of our coffins. Again, they have 6 coffins currently, but a little bit later on, they might have 7 because they're going to actually have a breakfast coffin, a bacon, egg, and cheese one, which sounds so amazing to me. Unfortunately, since they're kind of just in soft opening, they don't have it right now, but as soon as they get it, I have to come back and try that out. You guys know I love a breakfast sandwich, so a breakfast coffin, kind of the same thing. It sounds amazing. But with all of these coffins we currently have, they're not quite what I expected. I expected them to be more of like an empanada, but after looking at them, they're kind of more like a Hot Pocket. They're like a gourmet Hot Pocket. They have a lot more filling. I could tell they're a lot heavier, but they're more of like the shape and the dough is like a Hot Pocket kind of vibe, which, hey, I don't mind as long as they taste good. And I want to start by trying this pesto chicken one since it is served with that garlic knot sauce. And I had garlic knots in my mind since we were just talking about the sauce. So this is the Villain of Valentina. It has house basil pesto chicken with balsamic tomatoes and all the kingdom's garlic trapped in an herb panko splashed coffin. And this is of course served with Bruno's garlic knot sauce. So I cut our pesto chicken in half, and again, the inside doesn't really look how I expected. Mainly because I don't even think it looks like chicken. It's not very green. You know, when you see pesto, you expect a very vibrant green from all of that pesto, but it doesn't really look like that. I could see that balsamic tomato kind of along the edge there, and I like that every coffin is kind of dusted with something different. But we've got to dip this in our garlic knot juice. We got to go right for the bite with the sauce. Oh my gosh, there is so much garlic in this sauce, and I love garlic, so I have a feeling this is going to be very good. This is gonna hit, I know it. Now this is meant to be eaten with that garlic sauce, and with the garlic sauce, it is just fantastic. That garlic knot juice is so good. There's a little bit of crushed red pepper in there, so it gives it just like the tiniest little kick. And if you're a garlic lover like myself, man, this is amazing. It is like extra garlicky, which is exactly what I like. But I did have a bite of this coffin on its own, and I would say it's good on its own. It's okay. It's nothing fantastic on its own. It 100% needs that garlic knot sauce. When you see pesto, you expect a more in-your-face basil-y kind of flavor, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really get that. I got more of like a tomato-y kind of flavor. You can see there's quite a bit of that balsamic tomato on the side there, which I like. It adds like a little sweet tang, but the chicken itself I feel like could use a little bit more pesto flavor. When you dip it in that sauce, it takes over all the flavor that pesto kind of needed to give. I wish the chicken was in like bigger chunks, because it is quite tiny in there, really tiny chunks of chicken, but overall it's stuffed. The flavor is good, but it's like 100 times better with the garlic sauce. And I want to say with all these sauces, they aren't messing around. They give you plenty of sauce to dip your entire coffin in. Actually, I might even have some leftover of this and bring it home. It's that good. I feel like you could put this on anything and it'd be great. But we're moving on to our next coffin, and I want to try this Peasant's patty next. It's a classic cheeseburger topped with American cheese, dill pickle bits, encased in a sesame seed sprinkled coffin, served with pink salamander dipping sauce. Now this is probably the coffin I was most excited to try, mainly because we have so many different cheeseburger flavored things around Disney World. We of course have the cheeseburger pods at Satuli Canteen, the cheeseburger egg rolls over in Magic Kingdom. So this is like another fun take on a burger here, just wrapped in almost kind of Hot Pocket dough. Let's try this on its own first, and then we'll go for a dip in the sauce. You know, I was really hoping this filling would be full of flavor, and I hate to say it, but it's not. With the cheeseburger spring rolls in Magic Kingdom and the cheeseburger pods in Animal Kingdom, they have such a strong, like, mustardy, pickly kind of flavor. And honestly, I'm not picking up on any pickles in this whatsoever. And I know there were supposed to be some in there. And also, I feel like it's not very cheesy. I feel like you could see the inside there. I wish it was oozing with a little bit more cheese. And I just feel like the meat in general is lacking a little bit of seasoning. But let's see if this sauce here can help it out. The sauce is good. It's pretty much your regular burger sauce, just with like a little extra paprika maybe. It's creamy, has a little bit of spice, and definitely adds the flavor that this cheeseburger Coffyn needs. Now, I will say, I got a bite with a little extra pickle. You can see there's like a little pickle in the side there. And when you get a bite with the pickle, it's really good. I just need more. Maybe I just really like pickles, so I always want a lot of pickles on my burgers. But it's okay. It's definitely, again, way better with the sauce. The other one of these Coffins I was really excited to try is the Wizard's Wonder. It has mac and cheese with diced pickled poblano peppers, barbecue pulled pork, and it's all in a barbecue crumb covered coffin. This one here is paired with Prince Donuts smoke and cherry barbecue sauce. Now, I of course love mac and cheese, so I've been highly anticipating this coffin here, and it's served with this barbecue sauce. It smells really interesting. Ooh. That's definitely a house-made barbecue. It's sweet and tangy. That is a delicious barbecue sauce, but we have to find out how it pairs with this coffin here. And as you can see, it looks like there's a layer of the dough, a layer of the mac, a layer of cheese, and then a layer of the peppers and the pork. It doesn't really look like much of the cheese has been mixed in with the mac, so I'm hoping it's not too dry. Now, granted, it probably looks like this because I've had it sitting out taking videos of everything for a little bit, so that could be it. But let's try it out. Let's go for a dunk in our BBQ. This pulled pork mac and cheese one might be my favorite so far, and I think that could be because the crumb on the outside of the dough there is so good. It tastes like barbecue chip flavored breadcrumbs on the outside, and it's delicious. I will say I also had a bite of this on its own without the extra barbecue sauce, and I feel like this is the only coffin I've tried so far that is just as good without the sauce as it is with the sauce. I thought this was going to be a little bit dry and maybe not cheesy enough just because it doesn't look like the mac and cheese has been mixed with much cheese, but you could actually see there is in fact plenty of cheese in there, and it all pairs together so nicely. It's smoky, it's creamy, it's cheesy, there's a ton of carbs in here, but it is so good. And dipping it in the barbecue sauce is really good. It just adds like an extra smoky tang. But man, I don't even think you need it with this one. This is my favorite one so far. We're gonna try our other cheesy coffin next, the Moreish Monk. This is a Middle Ages grilled cheese using Vermont white cheddar and Havarti cheese with a house-made tomato jam wrapped in a Parmesan smothered coffin. And this one here is served with a Wolf peach sauce. A peach sauce, so a little sweet, a little savory. That sounds really good to me, and I always love to pair like a fruit jam with my cheese on like a charcuterie cheese board and stuff. And how good does this one look? It reminds me the most of a pizza Hot Pocket, and I guess growing up, the Hot Pockets that I probably ate the most were like the pepperoni pizza and the ham and cheese, and this kind of looks like the inside of a pepperoni pizza Hot Pocket a little bit there. You've got all the cheese, and you've got that tomato jam on the top, and I really like how this one is crusted with that Parmesan cheese there. I feel like that's going to add a really good flavor. Let's try it first. No sauce. The cheese is good. There's a ton of it, but I really love that tomato jam on the inside. It adds like a little sweetness, so it's almost like a grilled cheese and tomato soup, I guess, and the Parmesan on the outside. I was right. That toasted cheese on the outside is so delicious. I think this one, again, is really good on its own. It would probably be a lot better warmer, but hey, that's my fault, because I could imagine just like all the melty cheese in there would be perfect. And I know this is so specific, but has anyone ever had a cheddar cheese bagel twist from Dunkin' Donuts? I used to get them a long time ago, maybe in like middle school or high school. The cheddar cheese bagel twist. This honestly reminds me of it a lot because it's like doughy and it's got that cheese on the outside. Anyways, I think it's really good, and that parm, like I said, is really good. And I feel like this already has like a dipping sauce on the inside with that tomato jam, but I guess we'll go for a dunk in the peach as well. Is this a vodka sauce? I didn't think about it until I tasted it, but it tastes like vodka sauce, which is a-okay with me. I love vodka sauce, but it doesn't taste like peachy or fruity or sweet. I don't really get that. It tastes more like a creamy tomato-based sauce, like a vodka sauce. I think it pairs nicely with the grilled cheese vibes, but I think this would also go well with the pesto chicken coffin, which, by the way, you are able to kind of like mix and match your dipping sauces if you wanted, and you can also add an extra dipping sauce onto your order for an extra price. I believe it's a little over $1 or so. but these are just like the recommended pairings. And each Coffyn comes with the recommended dipping sauce. But I feel like this tastes like a vodka sauce. I'm not mad at it, because I love vodka sauce, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It's okay. Well, we only have 2 more Coffins left to try, and next we're gonna dive into this Foragers Find. This has roasted sweet potatoes with black bean corn salsa and cotija cheese in a pumpkin seed topped Coffin served with Tropic of Mango aioli dip. At first, I thought this was plant-based, but after reviewing the ingredients more thoroughly, I guess it has some cotija cheese, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's just vegetarian, unless they're using a plant-based cotija cheese, which is totally possible. But let's try it out. We'll dip it in this mango sauce here first. That's what it was, right? Mango? Let me double check. Yes, Tropic of Mango. The sauce is really good. It's nice and sweet. It reminds me of like a coconut curry sauce a little bit. But I also, of course, took a bite on its own without the sauce. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a Chili's Southwestern egg roll, but just a little bit worse. I don't think it has as much flavor and seasoning as a Chili's Southwestern egg roll, which is a little disappointing. The sauce definitely helps a bit, but I feel like the real difference between that Chili's egg roll and this here is the dough. I think I'm realizing that I don't love the dough of these Coffins. It's very doughy, I guess you could say. Each Coffin is very doughy, and the dough reminds me a lot of a grocery store bagel, which isn't a compliment. All of the filling in this is kind of mushy, and there's virtually no contrast of textures going on here. If you're a vegetarian, definitely check this one out because I believe it's the only one you could get for now, but I personally wouldn't come back for it. Okay, so on to our 6th and final Coffin, the Imperial Idol. This has mildly spicy chicken with potato and carrot coconut curry in a fried garlic covered Coffin. This one is served with Red Panda's dipping sauce. I like that we have the big chunk of chicken right at the front, and I'm really excited for this garlic crusted dough. It looks really good. It looks like there might be some sesame seeds in there as well, some black sesame seeds. And as soon as I opened the sauce, I smelled sour cream. I believe it's like a green sour cream kind of sauce. I don't know. Let's try it out. First bite with sauce. I'm glad we got that first bite with the chicken because after that, there really is not much chicken in this. There's a lot of carrots and a lot of potatoes. And this sauce, I thought it was sour cream based at first. It's definitely like a Greek yogurt, like some type of like yogurt curry tzatziki style sauce. There's definitely some curry flavors in there. There's a ton of curry flavor in the actual pastry itself too. Since the dough here is encased in a ton of fried garlic, I was hoping it would have more of a garlic flavor, but I'm not really getting that too much. Well, after trying all 6 of the Coffins, I definitely have some favorites, and I definitely think some are better than others. My 3 favorites were the mac and cheese with the pulled pork, the grilled cheese with the tomato jam, and the pesto chicken, but I'm not sure if I like the pesto chicken for what was inside of the pastry or what was outside in that garlic dipping sauce. But when it comes to these Coffins, I do think the dough is lacking a little bit. Definitely try them out if you're coming to Disney Springs and you haven't yet, but I just don't think it's worth a super long line. And you guys know I love Gideon's, and I'm willing to wait in quite a long line for a Gideon's cookie. But these, I'm not sure if they're as good as the cookies. They're just not as like crave-worthy. They're fun and they're really unique and interesting to try. I love a new savory snack, but I just don't think I would run for it here in Disney Springs because there are so many great food options. But with all that being said, we still have one more savory thing to try, the Telltale Tatties. These are a mini bucket of baked smashed potatoes, perfectly seasoned with the king's spices and served with the realm's famous honey mustard for $8.66. These potatoes are in fact smashed super thin, and they have a ton of seasoning on them as well, which I like to see. No sauce first. They're okay. The seasoning on them is really good, but there's a lot of skin on there. And usually I like skin on a potato, but it's kind of hard to eat with the skin because they're not super crispy. But let's try dunking this honey mustard here. Another thing that totally needs the dipping sauce. On their own, they're fine, but with the dipping sauce, they're so much better. That honey mustard is really good. Nice and sweet, nice and creamy. This is a good honey mustard. You know what I think would be better though? If they maybe toss these potatoes here in that garlic knot sauce to make them extra garlicky. I guess we could do that ourselves because I still have plenty of the garlic knot sauce left, so I might have to do that. But they're okay. I don't think I would need to get these again. I appreciate that they're not just doing like fries because that's so easy. This is different, but I feel like with some Parmesan and some garlic on there, take them up a little bit of a notch. Now that we're done with all of the savory food, it's time to move on to the sweets because as I said, it wouldn't be a Gideon's location without some sweet treats. So here we have the Tart's Tempest. This is a Gideon's chocolate chip cookie tart filled with rich chocolate fudge and topped with house-made raspberry jam for $7.66. This is shaped like a Reese's peanut butter cup, except it's just like 100 times the size. Look how huge this is, guys. I don't know if you could tell how absolutely massive and thick this cookie is through video, but in person, man, this weighs a few pounds here, but let's crack it in half. See what's on the inside. Oh gosh, guys, I couldn't even get it in the half. That looks so good. A Gideon's cookie filled with fudge and jam. Gideon's just knows how to do a sweet treat right, and this is no different. It's so rich, it's so fresh, but what I really love about it is that raspberry jam on top. The jam is perfectly tart, perfectly sweet, and I love when there's like seeds in a jam because I feel like that just means you can taste the freshness almost. And the jam on there reminds me a lot of the filling of an Italian rainbow cookie or one of those Italian cookies that are like the butter cookies and then they have the layer of jam on the inside and one half has been dipped in chocolate and sprinkles. And I always love those types of cookies with that jam, and that's really what that reminds me of. So it's like a Gideon's cookie just with jam, except it is definitely different from a Gideon's cookie because Gideon's usually has like very soft, lightly baked cookies. The inside tastes a little bit like cookie dough, which I know is why some people may not like Gideon's. I happen to love it. But this doesn't give off that same cookie dough, soft, underbaked kind of vibe. This cookie is fully baked all the way through. So it's a Gideon's cookie. It has all the Gideon's cookie flavors, just not underbaked. So if you're someone who doesn't like that underbaked cookie dough vibe of Gideon's, I think you would really like this. Before we head out and I give you my overall thoughts on Six Ravens, there's still one more thing I want to do today. And for that, we have to head to World of Disney. This right here is exactly what I was looking for. A Goofy with a hot dog keychain. Look, they also have a Chef Mickey with a croissant. They have a little pizza keychain. And down here, they have an Angry Donald Chef keychain as well. But of course, I'm here for the hot dogs. Well, our keychain has been acquired and I've officially eaten all of the food that they have to try at Six Ravens. So let me tell you what I thought. First of all, they are currently in a soft opening stage as of the date of filming. They haven't had their grand opening yet. So please be patient with all of the cast members inside and outside. They're just trying to do their best and kind of get the hang of things until they open. I expect there to be a virtual queue for a little while, definitely at least a couple of months. But the good thing about a virtual queue is once you put your phone number down, you are able to kind of just walk around and enjoy Disney Springs. So that is definitely better than just standing in a line for hours. And speaking of lines, I feel like the best way to describe my overall experience at Six Ravens and review everything that I tried is to let you guys know how long I would wait in line for any of that food. And I hate to say it, but the longest I'd wait in line is like 15 minutes. Gideon's is amazing, so I went in with pretty high expectations, and if I'm being honest, they weren't totally met. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to have a unique savory snack option in Springs, but I did expect everything to just be a little better. So for now, catch me waiting in line at Gideon's over Six Ravens any day. But let me know what you guys think. Are you going to check out Six Ravens next time you come to Disney Springs? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you to everyone over on Patreon. I really appreciate your support. If you enjoy honest Disney food reviews, I'm going to give them to you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.